what types of lasers do you guys have? Like CO2, fiber?
See, he said lasers.
Yeah, no, we only have one.
You only have one?
It's a big one.
What is wrong with you guys?
Only one.
See?
What?
What's wrong with this?
Space.
How do you only have one?
Space is what's wrong.
I keep trying to work with him.
And welcome to the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
That's up.
Now, you got your nice next level.
I do. So, funny you say that. Will is heading to Tulsa today.
Oh.
To finalize some things with the next conference.
Oh, with Mark?
Yes.
Nice.
Definitely with Mark.
Nice.
They would be real awkward because otherwise then that would mean that they like broke up.
Yeah. That would be up there with like you and Heather breaking up.
Yeah, it would.
It'd
be real dramatic in the laser world.
Mm-hmm.
But quick side note, he's already mentioned several times that he wants us there in the podcast capacity.
Ooh.
To
So we're taking this show on the road again.
We are.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like for the whole weekend.
Whole weekend.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that many shows.
Me
It's a lot of talking. You need a lot of water.
Welcome to my life.
You need a lot of water.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
we got this.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Today's guest.
Who is it?
No.
What?
It's brought to you by.
Oh shit. Good job.
Yeah. See?
Sorry, Katie.
See, I got you, Katie.
So this episode is brought to you by Monarch Pine. Enjoy 10% off her Etsy with code Riley Black. monarchpine.etsy.com.
monarchpine.etsy.com.
Yes. See.
All right. Now on to our guests.
Who we have?
Blake and Molly with Outnumbered 5-1. How's it going?
What's going on? How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So let's just get this out of the way. Okay. The Outnumbered 5-1. Explain how you came up with that.
It's Molly's fault. I'll let her tell it.
Well, we have 4 girls. So is that part my fault? The girls part?
This the quantity. The quantity is your fault.
We adopted 2 girls that were 7, and then we got married and had 2 more girls. So he likes to say he's outnumbered 5-1 girls, but I'm really just outnumbered 5-1 kids. So depends who you talk to.
Yeah. You're both outnumbered.
5-1.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense because I have 3 as well.
Yeah, you're outnumbered 3-1.
Yeah.
On both ends. Kids
and yeah. So it's just 3-2-1 over here all the time. So how did you guys get into the laser industry? Like, what were you doing before that? Feel free to go back as far, as you want. I believe you guys still, at least one of you still has a day job. So just talk about how lasers fit into all that and how you found them.
Yeah, again, it's Molly's fault.
I was to say that is me also. It started with a Cricut.
Yeah.
And making the faux leather earrings, and I wanted to get like cooler and do wood, and
I
think I had like the Explorer 1 at the time, and then I when the Maker 3 came out, because I'm all about cheap, so I'm like, I'm gonna buy the Maker 1 so I can cut wood. Got it, and it took 16 passes to cut like this tiny, and I was like, this is horrible. Like we need this thing called a glow forge. Can we just get a glow forge? Yeah.
It's like you can, so should it?
Right.
Right.
So he looked in, he's like, yeah. He looks into it, he's like, we are not getting a glow forge. So that was over 2 years ago, and we ended up getting HL. Yep,
that was our first laser. About 3 months of research trying to figure out what laser should we get, and then we also didn't want to we didn't want to buy a laser and then outgrow it in 6 months.
Right. Which is, those are the 2 things that I didn't do with a Glowforge was I didn't research it. I didn't even know that like other lasers existed. Their genius marketing got me. And then two, not that this was really a mistake I made, but it's a mistake a lot of other people make is not thinking about the possibility of like, so if the laser does work out, you're going to outgrow the Glowforge very quickly. If it's just a hobby, fine, perfect. Even then kind of like I tend to push just because of the price now. I tend to push people in another direction. If you're going to spend that much, even if it's a hobby, there's other better lasers out there. But yeah, it's smart that you did those things for sure.
He's a researcher for sure.
This one is too.
A little bit.
Especially with your stuff.
Stuff, yeah.
I have to like ask you to like research. What was the one I asked you to research? Oh, my computer.
Yeah, your computer. Your laptop.
It's dying on me, but it's 6 years old, so it's okay. It's to be expected, I guess. Yeah. Computers don't last. I feel like they have a lot shorter lifespan nowadays.
By design, I think.
Yeah. Because then you got to buy another one. They don't want it to last 20 years because then you don't buy anymore.
And technology just speeds through it so fast, too. So.
Very true. Very true.
Like phones.
Yeah. So that was your first laser, you said? And then...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we hit it hard. We did so much research, not only research to figure out what laser, but then, what upgrades did we need? Do we need upgraded air assist, exhaust?
Yeah.
So we had all those things ready, and we were able to fire the laser on day one, which was pretty awesome.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
That's impressive.
And then hit it hard with earrings and ornaments and, paid it off in about 2 months, which was pretty cool.
Wow. That's awesome. So what were you guys doing before that, though?
Originally I was a teacher, and then once we got married and got pregnant with our first baby, I stayed home. And so I've been home since doing like just the side stuff, like as a hobby and just a fun little income
to keep you busy. And if it made money, it was a bonus.
Yeah. And then you have a real job.
Yeah, I've got a real job. I work a lot of hours. So it's definitely challenging, trying to balance, not only the business, but our kids, everything that's involved. So it's a lot.
Yeah. So do you intend to keep it that way? Like, do you like your job and intend to, if they happen to listen, don't tell us that you absolutely hate your job. So where are you at as far as like keeping them both? Or do you ever intend to make this like your full, like instead of a side hustle for you, do you ever plan to make it the full-time hustle?
I think probably just keep it part-time for me and full-time for Molly. Is probably the way to go.
Yeah.
You do want to grow in a different direction.
Yeah.
Right now we do a lot of craft shows and so like it's hard to get the custom orders done or just larger orders because I'm always having to, like, my entire week is pretty much spent on getting stuff ready for the next craft show or finishing those orders. So we can't, like, there's different things that we want to launch and try to do. And I just don't have the time of day with also trying to get the kids from the bus I try to be done working for the day when they get home from the bus, which really shortens my work day. And so yeah, it just,
So our struggle is, we drop off the boys at 8:30. So around 8, and then he gets home around 8:30. And now we're trying to add in the gym some of those days to like get healthier and all that. And then, today it was obviously a lot slower because it's outside of our norm, but we didn't even get home until 11:30. And we try wrapping up at around 4-ish. And, because we got to go pick them up, then it's time to make dinner, time to eat dinner. If we want to do an after dinner walk, which we like to do, but now it gets dark so early. By the time we finish dinner, it's pitch black outside and we got to get them ready for bed. And then by that time, we're exhausted and it's 9 o'clock at night and we just veg out on the couch for a couple hours. So it's like trying to figure out that balance with business, your health, the kids, all the things
for sure.
and how you get them in there.
Exactly.
In our first year of craft shows and year in business, things were going really well. We saw a lot of success with the earrings and ornaments and cutting boards. And I noticed at craft shows that there was nothing for guys. So as we came into 2023, we started bringing, I started doing the wallets, ammo cans, knives, and it became, massively successful.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
We sell more of our dude line than we do like the earrings, which is what we started this with. So it's
definitely a more saturated like area of not that like there's room. I feel like there's room for everybody. At the same time, the men's side is definitely not touched.
There's a lot less. Yeah.
And so there's more of like the piece of the pie that's a little bit easier to get, because you're not competing with everybody. What is that beeping?
I don't know. Maybe my mom's microwaving something.
But like 6 times?
You don't know her?
I do. All right, take it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I just want to make sure that everything's all plugged in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's all power. Attention all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than Crazy Laser Dad Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high-quality blanks are expertly sourced, tested, and ready to use with your lasers. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time-consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for all your customers.
So, what are you waiting for? Visit crazylaserdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser-ready blanks.
Welcome to the revolution in laser engraving. Introducing Lens Digital, the creators of the game-changing Pyburn rotary attachment. With the Pyburn 4.0, you can turn ordinary cups, tumblers, glasses, and more into extraordinary masterpieces.
Looking to engrave niche items or want the functionality of a Chuck rotary? Look no further than the Pyburn Grip, Lens Digital's Chuck-style rotary. With a range of different sized jaws, you can easily engrave a wide variety of items. All Lens Digital products are compatible with most CO2 and Galvo lasers and were designed specifically for the laser industry. All that paired with the best-in-class customer support, Lens Digital is your one-stop shop for all of your rotary needs.
Transform your laser engraving game with Lens Digital, where makers succeed. Unleash your creativity today.
And don't forget, we are proud Lens Digital affiliates as well. If you're shopping, code Riley Black will take $50 off any order of $600 or more. So when you say that you're shifting your focus, are you going to like shift your focus more into like the craft shows? Because there's a lot of laser owners who that's all they do. They do like, the either craft show for month.
So this is like a bone of contention between us because Blake's all like, load me up. I'm going to do them every weekend. And I'm like, because we were going together last year. And I'm like, my mom guilt is so strong right now. Like
a lot.
The kids are having to that's a lot. It's an all day Saturday. And so he's like, just load me up. You can stay home with the kids. I'll go by myself. Fine. I'll go every weekend. And like, I don't think we did every weekend. I mean, there was a lot of weekends. And so I'm like, no, there needs to be, I'm putting like a cap on like 4 or 5 a year. Yeah. But then I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this one location has like 5 of them and we do great every time. Like every show they have like maybe more than 4 or 5. It's like, but we'd like to do less craft shows and get more into wholesale and more school. Yeah. We do a lot of stuff for school fundraisers and different things like that. So
yeah. Because the craft shows, again, they're always on the weekends. And then you come into the work-life balance part of, again, then that means that's more time away from your kids. The craft shows were difficult for me because my back and the other miscellaneous things, but I needed help transporting a lot of it and like setting it up and breaking it down and that kind of stuff. And if he worked on the weekend, then that also meant like, okay, I had only like, I may not have help setting up or breaking down. And then it also meant I had to find someone to watch the kids. And then, you know, like you sometimes like I had one show where I only did 2 with my laser stuff, but I had one show where I made several $100s, I think maybe 3 to 5. I don't remember that first. I think it was the first one.
The first one?
I don't.
Yeah, that's a microwave.
Literally the first time.
Yeah, that's a microwave.
Anyway, so the first one it was like 3 to 5, and then the second one, your sister who was supposed to watch the kids. And she showed up very late. And so I literally got to the event 10 minutes before it was starting. So I had to like unload everything, set it up. I'm like panicking. Everyone's like, if you've ever had to set up a show while people are like there and watching, it's, first of all, my anxiety was through the roof because I'm like, this is not the way I want you to see my product.
Right.
You're watching me set up, which is normally kind of like a private thing. Yeah. And then the weather wasn't the greatest. It wasn't terrible, but it meant that there wasn't a lot of people there. And then I don't know, it just didn't do that well. I broke even with my booth fee and whatever I made.
Right.
And then I spent $12 on my way home on Taco Bell because I hadn't eaten. And so I'm like, great, now I'm $12 in the negative because you know,
shows are a lot of work.
It was all that work making all of that stuff, setting it up, and then like the hours you spend like prepping, getting there while you're there, going home. I was like, yeah, I made literally negative amount of dollars if I like pay myself, you know, hourly for that time. And although I will say, and I always tell people when they post in like the groups and stuff and they didn't have a successful craft show, at that same craft show, a couple either next to me or a couple booths down, I met ladies from the Karma bath shop that I ended up later down the road I ended up having a consignment spot from. And so, you know, I made connections, and you still meet customers and you give them their card. And even though, you know, I've heard of people like, oh, I didn't make much, but I gave, you know, 20 people my card, and then I had 15 custom orders once people got home, and you know, that kind of stuff. And so even if you sell nothing, it doesn't necessarily mean you walked away with nothing.
Right.
But they can be a lot of work and a little bit defeating when you don't like make hundreds of thousands or whatever, because, you know, you see the people in the groups a lot of times who post, you know, I sold out in 4 hours or whatever. And it's always hard not to compare yourself to that, but you don't know that that's that person's 15th show, and they like tweaked all these things, you know, their setup, their, you know, their products, like you guys realized that there was no products for men, and then tweaking that, and now you're successful. If someone compares their first show to whatever show that was for you, or, you know, your latest show, that's going to be, you know, defeating when they don't know all the facts.
Or also have a like an awesome crowd that just fell in love with all their stuff.
Right.
You know, like that one-off show where you like, you know, you blow it up and then you're like, oh man, this is great. And you go into the next show with that energy, and it's like not a flop, but a flop compared to the awesome time you had in that time before. Yeah. And it could be, you know, it is a roller coaster of emotion.
Yeah.
Speaking of all things laser, check out Houston Acrylic at houstonacrylic.com for reliable laser tested and laser approved materials.
Made for makers by makers, Houston Acrylic features over 450 styles of acrylic sheets. With over 50 new arrivals being released this month, Houston Acrylic is committed to bringing new and innovative styles to the laser community. My personal favorite is the matte, anything matte, and I feel it's perfect for everything.
Don't forget to save 10% by using our exclusive coupon code TRBP10 at checkout. Get inspired today and visit houstonacrylic.com.
Do it.
Hey there, podcast listeners. How great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape your 9 to 5 to embrace your lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Freedom to Create webinar, where you'll learn how to make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon Laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits. Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head over to eonlaser.us/whyus and sign up for the Freedom to Create webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on.
Blake
So-
likes to make competitions when we've had to split, like, and it's always like, well, this year we have a lot of inappropriate things, which always sell.
Yes.
Yep.
So, but I was at a Catholic church.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
this
that's not fair.
competition, I was like, how is this even fair? Like, so I ended up at one point I texted him like, you better making twice as much as I am, because this is ridiculous. Like, I did have like my secret box of ornaments behind me, so then if somebody I noticed was watching or looking at or laughing at my important shit dishes, I was like, oh, I see you're my kind of people, and I reach out and, yeah, and that worked really well. But like just the groups you go to, you never know.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
When if it's the first time you've say it's the first time you've been to that one at the church, you may not necessarily know what those people are drawn to, what they like, what they don't like. There's the themed ones too that are like, this would be infringement, but the Jeep ones, or whatever. So like the beer ones, that's a better example. Like you go to a beer one, and like if you show up with a bunch of like flowery earrings, sure, there might be a couple people who love your stuff, but if you show up with a bunch of beer things stuff, even beer things earrings, which I sell a file for that if anybody needs one, then you might have better success. But again, like then it's like, if that's not in your product line, now you have to make it part of your product line, and makes it a little difficult as well.
Do you feel like at a craft show, are you like, I guess maybe, are you introverted or extroverted? Are you like pumped up afterwards? Are you like exhausted?
I am exhausted.
She is super introverted.
So I didn't used to be. So it's always hard for me to answer this question, because I always felt like I was an extrovert, but I was always kind of comparing myself to my sister, who's pretty introverted. I'm an extrovert when I know people and I'm comfortable. But if I'm uncomfortable, I'm 100%, or if I don't know anybody, I'm an introvert. Well, at a craft show, I typically don't know anybody, and I don't know the people who are coming. And so the first one I did, I had him there, and he kind of did the like, he's not like awkward or nervous around people that he doesn't know. He's like fine. And
buffer.
Yeah. And so he would kind of like be like, hey, hi, how you doing? Because I always
be the introduction.
Yeah. And then they would ask about the products. They'd ask him, and he would, and then I'd be like, oh, okay. Like he kind of like eased me. So that's another reason that they weren't necessarily like the greatest fit for me personally when they were my items, because like it was hard. It gave me a lot of anxiety about like, am I bothering this person by saying hi? Because it's always like,
oh, they're at the show.
Yeah, like but like I would go to a craft show, and like I liked the ones who would like greet me and be like, let me know if you have any questions, and then if I do, I'd like ask them something. But I didn't like the ones where they're like
pushy,
like all over me, like, hi, how are you doing? What do you think about my booth? Like are the prices good? Oh, do you want those? Like, God forbid if I like compliment something, like, there's the two, and so it was like hard for me to find what that like medium is. And I'm an overthinker too, so then it's like, okay, did I say too much? Did I not say enough? So they were difficult for me, but then I also know that they can be, again, just so so good in that it gets your products out there. It kind of like tells you what people like and what people are drawn to, even if they don't necessarily buy it then. If everyone keeps picking it up, oh, okay, maybe this is something I should put in my online shop, or
or maybe look at the pricing too. Maybe something that's
is
a little
the price
overpriced.
too high? It can also be priced too low because then they can think like the quality isn't there. Yep. So
I'm a lot like you, Crystal. Like, I that's too people-y. I don't want to. I want to see their enjoyment over the products that I spend all day making, but I don't want to talk to them about it. Where he loves it, and he comes home exhausted too. But he loves it. Like I've said since the day I met him, like that guy can sell the shit out of ketchup popsicles to a lady in white gloves, like, and he does. And so like my mom, I used to do craft shows before him, and my mom would come with me, and she knows him. And so like we were going to do our first craft show together, and I was like, we've got rules. Like, you're not allowed to be one of those pushy people. That's not how my booths work.
Right.
But, so he came home, and like, I think my mom was there at one point. So he asked like, okay, so what did you and your mom think? And like, yeah, it was acceptable, but we've probably gone over to the pushy, but it sells. Like he is pushy now. Like, oh yeah, I see you're looking at that. And he is one of those people, but he loves like talking about all of it too. But
and so what's your kind of like technique for like interaction with any guests who like come in your booth?
I think try to find something in common quickly if it's possible, and sometimes saying something that could be considered maybe even offensive in a way, like
comedy.
Like do you remember that? What's the stud story? Do you remember that? And I can't.
So we give away free studs. Like if we're just
that's right.
having a hard time drawing people in, it's like, hey, you want to
scrap. So
because I take pride in the amount of the lack of wood there is on a sheet of wood that's left. Like it better be super flimsy. And so I like sit there and plug in all these tiny little studs, and then
that's super smart.
We'd have the daughters assembly line them and make them up for us and throw them on our board. So we have these earrings that are essentially free. I mean, probably like a cent for the hardware. But so this like teenage girl comes up, and she was like about to walk away, and he's like, "Do you like studs?" And I was like, she like looked, and I looked. I'm like, he means earrings. He means earrings.
But I wasn't in that case. I was not even trying to be funny. He really
was talking about earrings, and not, like. Sometimes they'll just be snarky and like, you want to come get some free earrings? Well, you can only have them if you follow us on TikTok or something. And like just giving them crap, but usually does the trick.
But I mean, and I have a blast doing it, and it's not like I just enjoy it. But I mean, we went from making hundreds to like thousands at craft shows.
That's awesome. Well, and it's who you are too. Like once he'll see that I'll get like more comfortable as like the time goes on. Like at first I'm like, nobody talks to me at all. And then the more I get like talk to people, and the more like, people literally warm up, and a few people will like my stuff, or maybe I'll get a couple sales. Then it's like, okay, like this is all right. Or especially like now that we broke even, like now I'm good. But I will say too, I love the funny, snarky stuff, and that stuff was easy for me too, because like it's one of my coping mechanisms for one. Like if I'm uncomfortable, if I can make a joke, like it's what I'm gonna do. Like mine was like there was a moment when I was on an elevator with one of the like GM of our department, and me and my sister had just done like a really hard workout, and like I was bright red. We probably might have smelled. We're in like tank tops, and this is like a corporate job. And so we were on the elevator, and like I'm sitting there, and it's like I was so uncomfortable, and then it was really quiet, and I was like, awkward, and then everyone started laughing, and it was like, okay, now it's okay, right? Because like I had to, like I was dying on the inside, so if I see that opportunity, and like a lot of times I try to make sure that my products give me kind of that opportunity, because I love like the funny or snarky like keychains. One of the best ones, they didn't even ever really buy it, but it made them laugh and it made them look at my items more, was the I'm speeding because I have to poop.
Oh,
That keychain always kind of like got the laugh, and then they'd look at the rest of them and they'd find another one that would like, another one I had was like you sometimes. I'm pretty sure that one was like my best seller, because it's like if your sister or your boyfriend that drives you crazy or whatever, they would like grab that. And then those kind of like your studs, they were cheap to make, because they were tiny little just frosted or whatever color acrylic keychains, and then I'd sell them, I think, like, I don't know, 2 for $5 or something like that, or 3 for $10 or whatever. And then it got them in there, and then they were looking at everything else, and it got them like laughing, and it got them comfortable too, because it also is a little bit awkward for them as well, because they walk into your store and they don't know how you're gonna act. So yeah,
that's a good point.
What types of lasers do you guys have? Like CO2, fiber?
See, he said lasers.
Yeah, no, we only have one.
You only have one?
It's a big one.
What is wrong with you guys?
Only one.
See?
What?
What's wrong with this?
Space.
How do you only have one?
Space is what's wrong.
I keep trying to work with him.
Space is what's wrong.
Space is a huge part. I really hope.
The box says do not
It's not an issue for us.
We can't stack them on top of
I know. Well, so we have an Eon Mira 9. And it is she's a beefy girl. So there's not a lot of room for another one. Although I
said
do
you can trade her in for
kind
2.7s.
of no.
And then we have 2 lasers.
It's actually not a bad idea. You've never said that.
Yes, I have. I'll go back and I'll show it to you. I have video.
Find the footage.
That's not a bad idea.
I've said it
because I make a lot of small stuff,
right? And we can have
and
one.
Then the other ones are the tumblers.
We've talked about.
I don't know that they'll fit
thing.
side by side.
But what's the bed size on a 9?
24 by 35 ish.
Okay.
Yeah, and I work mostly with acrylic, because I realized I hated all the stuff that came with wood.
Use the full bed.
And so most of the stuff I buy, and because of space and storage, it's all the 12 by 20 Glowforge size sheets.
Yeah.
And so I really do mostly like 95%.
You know what would be funny
stuff.
if we could partition the bed like you do a hard drive, and put the rotary for half.
Oh, that would be so nice. I wish we could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Len,
but you can't.
Get on that.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, so we only have the one. I was telling him today how I really want a Thunderbolt, so that I can have a tumbler dedicated laser.
Tumbler? Oh man, yeah.
Because it's not too bad to switch it over, but it's annoying enough that like many people consider it and many people do it.
So if you have a 7 and you're looking to upgrade to a 9, reach out to us. Maybe we will do it.
Maybe I'll consider it. Stephanie was saying the other day how she kind of got that conversation going again, because she's also considering the like Tumblr dedicated one, because
she ordered hers.
Who? Stephanie?
Yeah.
She ordered the Thunder.
She posted that. Yeah, she posted that she bought it.
There it is.
FOMO. So what kind of pushed her to it? She's been considering a Tumblr dedicated laser for a while. But what was pushed her to it was she had a bunch of Christmas orders that she needed to fulfill. And of those tons of orders that she had, one of them was a full wrap Tumblr design. And she's like, I do not want to break down all this shit for literally one Tumblr, but she has to, because she has that one Tumblr order that she has to fulfill.
Not anymore, apparently.
So yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And
so we'd also like a fiber down the road.
Yes, definitely.
As well. But right now we only have one.
We do. Only one.
So as we evolved into the guy stuff, we could do the wallets, the ammo cans,
right,
all those things in the CO2, but it's not very efficient,
Right.
getting ready for craft show, if I'm prepping 100 wallets, that would take about 3 hours.
Right.
Putting some in, running them, swapping them out.
Right.
So then, we had a couple of really good shows over the summer.
Right.
And in about 3 shows there, we paid for a new fiber laser.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And so now to do 100 wallets, it's about 40 minutes. And I'm the bottleneck, like doing 100 wallets. I'm
Only
the bottle, like
faster
as
than
fast
you.
as I can take 6 wallets off and
Right.
try to shove them into boxes. Like the next 6 are done.
So have you seen the I don't know if they've done it with wallets. I've seen it done with like the business cards, or the dog tags. They use like a rotary, and they kind of usually the ones I've seen has been a pie burn. They like jimmy rig the rotary, and they make like an acrylic top like turntable, right?
Yep.
And it serves as a jig, and then they put a whole bunch at the top, and the rotary spins it so that it can so you can set up like a job of 6 to 10 or whatever, and then the fiber does the zzz thing,
Yeah,
whatever.
That's pretty close. That's how it sounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do.
Fireworks coming up from the bottom. It's so fun to watch. I love it.
Man, I could watch the CO2 laser a lot, but like the fiber, I could watch it over and over, and it's kind of like reels, because it's so quick that you get that like instant gratification from start to finish. It makes these cool sounds during, it looks cool, and then it's done, and it's like, oh, again, and then you can watch it again and again.
We started posting fiber content on TikTok, like people were watching it like crazy.
I'm telling you, we need one just for content,
and it doesn't take up very much space.
We get one,
right?
Then I have to.
And we bring it to craft shows now too.
Yes, yes, do it. Is that your like?
It's listen. I'm a man of many hobbies,
I
and
know.
any one hobby, if I like dedicated to it, it can become like money. Like it could become a thing.
Yes,
kind of like this hobby.
Right.
So within this hobby, if we got a fiber laser, I know what this leads to.
What does it lead to?
It leads to me doing things on firearms. It leads to me getting my FFL.
Which makes it legal.
Which
where I'm not hearing the problem yet.
Maybe you should FFL first.
Wait, no. She's about to hear the problem. Because then it means
more guns.
Shit. See, then it means because now I'm an FFL dealer. I'm a dealer now.
No, but see, now you're already sidetracking. You're already sidetracking.
No. There's
your
all
FFL is going to be lasered.
Right. And then it comes into custom. And then what's going to happen is like, hey, can you Cerakote this? And then I have to research Cerakoting.
Because you're taking it too far. You just don't do that.
See how you want 2 lasers? You're taking the laser thing too far, because you want a dedicated tumbler laser, because you went from wood to acrylic to tumblers.
Right.
So I'm going to go from stippling to Cerakoting to building firearms.
So it sounds like we need 2 7s and a fiber.
Listen, if you're okay with what comes with it, that's up to you. You don't want me to buy a bigger safe, so I can't fit more guns. Well, we're gonna have
Where are we gonna put a bigger safe?
Huh?
Where are we gonna put a bigger safe?
At the warehouse.
Okay. Enough money to get the warehouse first. Okay. Step number 1. Okay. And then I don't have to get rid of Mariah Carey.
Well, you will.
Well, not if we can afford a warehouse, and we can get another 7.
But in the process for the warehouse, I think we're gonna need to. We'll talk about that
anyway.
In the life update portion.
Moving back on to our guests.
It's a slippery slope.
I know, right? It just and it's hard, because I feel like most laser owners are like, and most crafty maker type people, we can do a lot, but that doesn't mean we should. So it's really hard to stay focused, because you want to do all the things, because we can do them well. We can learn new things, but like it's staying focused is a huge part of also being successful, because those people that there's some people who can do it well, but the people who sell stickers and shirts and laser stuff and fiber laser stuff and cups and all the things, like, you know, I don't know, it's hard. There's not a lot of people who can do that well and do them all well.
Right.
You know, like that we have our hat friend, because I don't necessarily like, I've contemplated getting into hats because it's just this easy, not, I won't say easy because you have to figure out your way,
Right.
but it's like this little hat patch, and you know, it doesn't take that much material. It can be pretty quick, but then you really need a good hat press.
Right.
Well, then the hat press, where are we going to put that? The good hat press is a lot of money. And so I'd rather, as much as tempting as it is, to just have Tabitha do that for us, and try and stay focused. But I say that as a person who has like 3 different pieces, at least, if not more, of my own.
Yeah. Well, because then you also get the like entrepreneur itch.
Yeah.
Because it starts off as a hobby, then you start.
We talked about a new business the other day that has nothing to do with lasers at all. Yeah, it's hard. How do you guys stay focused?
I mean, we're like literally we're the same.
We don't.
Yeah.
Like, we do all the things. Actually,
Right.
my 16-year-old just today sent me a video, and she's like, "This is legit. Like, this is you. This is you." And it said, "Why would I spend $7 on this when I can spend $92 on all the supplies to make that?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's
so
truly
that's how I started. Was I was pregnant with our first son, and I wanted those funny onesies, but they were expensive. They were $20, $25 each for them, you know, for especially a baby to wear it like once or twice before they outgrow it or ruin it by getting it dirty. And then they don't wear it again. So it's like, oh, well, I can just make them myself. And so I bought it wasn't used. It was a new, but like off marketplace silhouette for $100. Well, now I could have bought 5 onesies for that. And I didn't I didn't make him very many onesies. I made him a couple t-shirts. But he was like a toddler basically before I made those. And then all the vinyl and stuff that I had to buy. So yeah, why spend $20 to $25 on a onesie when I can spend $300 in, you know, vinyl cutting stuff to make it myself?
Exactly. So we got to a point with the men's stuff where, you know, I don't even know what specifically sent us to the fiber laser. I think I wanted to also do it at shows. So I think that's what I used to convince Molly is I want to do the laser at shows.
How do you use it at a show?
He just really like, I mean, well, I told you he can sell ketchup popsicles to a lady. I'm like, so he doesn't have to work very hard to convince me.
Right.
Like, okay, whatever. Sure.
Sure.
So then, you know, we get the fiber and it's like so much fun. Like, and the possibilities, I didn't realize all the different things that we could do. You know, we're doing it, you know, we're doing leatherette. I didn't even know that I could do leatherette.
Right.
So we're bringing it to shows. We're doing custom hats. We're pressing them. Somebody comes up and they're like, "Hey, can I get one with my company name?" You know, we're designing it real quick, cutting it with the fiber, pressing it live, picking out a hat. It's awesome.
Those, I have heard of a lot of people having great success with those, like not even like custom, but like the kind of the like half custom hat bars where you choose your hat, you choose your patch, and then they press it for you. And then, you know, so it's not necessarily 100% custom, but they kind of feel like it is to a certain extent because they get to choose from however many colors of hats and however many colors and types and sayings of patches, and then walk away with something new. So yeah, those are always so cool when they do that.
That's what we did at one of the shows because, we couldn't. You did end up lasering. Did you? No, at
Rockford?
Yeah, no. So we did essentially like a hat bar.
Yeah.
I just had them pre-made, which is kind of nice because then you don't have to waste it too and have all this product that doesn't actually end up selling. You just are left with the patch that is much easier to store.
Yeah,
Right.
I did an event with Mindy where we did and this was with our vinyl cutter. But I brought the silhouette, and I think she brought her hat press, and we kind of, or not hat press, her heat press. And we kind of like, tag teamed where like I would take the name, put it into the software, cut it on the vinyl, and then she would press it, and we pressed it onto those Santa sacks. And we'd make the custom like
nice.
Santa sack like right away.
Mhm.
And that was
Yeah.
it was a pretty good hit, but it makes it really difficult if you're running the table by yourself.
Right.
And I was.
Oh yeah.
So then it was like, okay, well now, this customer is here like doing something, and I can't like tend to them if they have any questions, or I have to kind of go back and forth. And then this other customer is waiting for their Santa sack, and I'm like, can you come back in a few minutes? So yeah, it's a hard balance sometimes of, you those kinds of things are usually best if you have a second person, or if you can really multitask well.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. It's not easy. The last show that we did, I had the laser, and my booth was very shallow. So I did not have enough room to have the laser at the back like normal. So I actually had there was a little slot across from me and down a couple. So I ended up setting the laser over there.
Oh, man.
I was so busy. It was not easy to execute. I only did a couple of custom items, but it was still, I don't know that I really will bring the laser if I'm by myself again.
Yeah. I have seen people bring, and I don't know how this compares to like the setup and space that you need for your fiber, but a lot of people are buying the X-Tool F1, I think it is. The one with like the green shield around it. And it's kind of like, it's like this, but it's kind of, and then maybe like this tall. And it's a diode, but it's pretty quick, especially because you're doing something, generally small.
Those two words go together.
Yeah.
Diode and quick.
Listen, look up the X-Tool F1 and like they'll show you, and that's how they get you, is they'll show you like in real time. I think it might have even been a hat patch or a coaster. I'm not sure what it was, but it took a couple of minutes. So I mean, a couple minutes to finish a design is quick, even on a diode, as much as they are far from fast. But it was also perfect for, I think people started or some people use them to customize ornaments on the spot too, because that's even like, that's tiny. If you're customizing an ornament, you have your ornament already made, and maybe you're just adding the names to somewhere or something. I like I make snow globe earrings or ornaments, and I love using veneer. And so you could use veneer and just like, engrave that really quick and then stick it on your already made acrylic snow globe. And now you have something that's customized. But yeah, it definitely adds another like level of difficulty to a potentially already difficult craft show.
Yeah.
Did you tell us all the lasers you have? Sorry, if you're going to say something else.
Oh no, just the two. So we've got the CO2 that we started with, and then the fiber, which I seriously can't recommend enough.
Yeah.
But it kind of was transitioning me to thinking about LBX, and how come you guys weren't there?
Kids.
It was mostly kids. The timing too. So I'm a crazy Halloween person, and it was the weekend before Halloween. And a lot of the years past, I didn't really get to do much with the kids easily because he was usually working. And they were either like too young to understand, or then maybe Jackson was a baby, and then it was too much for me to take them like both out like on my own, and not the greatest neighborhood that we used to live in. So it was like this first year, our sons were 2 and 6, and so they like understood enough to really like enjoy it. So we did a lot of like, the trunk or treats, an event close to the house. And we did something on actual Halloween too, and now that it's a good thing we didn't, because then his mom also moved in like a week or two before that. So it would have just been, it would have been a lot to, I either would have had to go by myself, which, as you heard, I run craft shows on my own. I don't do well unattended without like a chaperone or whatever. Cause like those, I mean, those events, they're really, really great. That's awesome to meet so many other people. It's like it's awesome to like feel that energy of like-minded people and motivated people, and you see all these cool things and learn all these cool things. But like by myself, and like if I don't have like a friend to latch onto, like I'm hiding in the corner, like people are gonna talk to me, and people like know me now. So, you know, yeah, I had my first experience in the middle of a panic attack on the airplane of running into someone. She's amazing. But yeah, it was so yeah, long story. But that's why we weren't there. But I had major FOMO, and Heather wasn't initially going. And then they, you know, decided they needed a Procreate person and looped her in about a month or two before. And so then I really had FOMO because she was going without me.
And then I had it because everyone being together. It's a great atmosphere. And then I started seeing the posts from Alex and the Laser Everything crew, and seeing their tents and their and all the gear. And I'm like,
now if anybody went to LBX and you saw that tent that Alex had at Laser Everything, don't expect that at Mark and
I was in it. I was on the podcast.
Yeah, I watched yours you were with Heather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. So don't expect that. It'll still be good, but
it'll be different.
It won't be that.
No.
we don't have that kind of fun.
Don't go that deep.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
But I would have never, I would have never guessed like what networking would have really come from LBX. It was like night one, I've got Stephanie in the back of our car going out to dinner. We got Stephanie and I can't think, I'm terrible with names.
Same.
Like I literally had a car, like 9 people.
Heather and Bob, and not Heather Lynn, but a different Heather.
Like literally our van was like, I think one more than actually seated, and we're going out to dinner with these people who, you know, we know from TikTok or Facebook, but meeting them but I feel like you feel like you know them.
Technically, even though I wasn't there, the reason you're on the podcast right now is because David, with Creative Cut Supplies, he reached out to me and was like, hey, you know, I met this really cool dude at LBX, and he'd be a great person to have on your podcast. He sent me a couple of them, and I was like, oh yeah. And I had heard of you, or like seen, I think you had probably interacted with a couple of my things on TikTok. So like the name was, you know, somewhat familiar. But even not being there, that's how like that networking even, you know, involved me of like, oh, I met this cool person that you should interview. So like it kind of showed missing it showed me that if at all possible, I want to be at all of them, even if it's not in a capacity where I'm teaching, even more so if I'm not teaching. Like, don't not ask me to teach at the same time. If you can't or don't want to, it's okay, because then it means I have less responsibility and I have less anxiety freaking out about what I'm going to present and if people are going to like it or whatever. But yeah, just the interacting with all of my friends and people, and just how pumped and motivated you walk away from those things. There's no other way to get that energy.
It was incredible. It was such a good time.
Yeah. And was that the first like laser conference you went into? Nice.
Yeah.
But I would not have wanted to do it myself either.
See,
like I was always like, oh, where did he go? Like I just it's just awkward.
Yep.
This is really people-y here.
Right, exactly.
Quick race to Stephanie because I feel like we're good now. So
right, like you talked to me and you were nice, so I'm gonna latch on to you while my husband is missing. He like with my first class, I wouldn't let him leave the room until like I was good, and he knows me pretty well, so I didn't really have to say like I'm good, but he saw like me calm down because they someone in the class had like they they said like mind blown or light bulb moment or whatever. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Mhm.
And so then I was okay because it's like, all right, even if I don't do anything else, I did something for that person. I'm good for this class. And he was like, and now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go get some footage. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then like as soon as they were over, like I would always like kind of want them back because then there again with doing too much, I was teaching, and then as soon as I wasn't teaching in between classes, I was selling the keychain thingies, and so it was like now I need people to like kind of field because I'm trying to field questions while also like ringing them out and ringing them up and accepting payment and all that, and then also potentially getting ready for the next class or moving out of there and moving on to the next thing. So it helps having like a friend or significant other because it just kind of helps with the buffer when there's
when you need that extra hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of having a friend, did David mention how I bailed him out when he was selling?
I don't think so.
At the market day.
Sounds
so
like
night before, he's
one
missing
here.
his kids, and he's like, "I'm thinking about heading home." I'm like, he had a car full of wood, and
and
I'm
he
like,
was selling
"You've got to
there.
be there." Yeah,
Yeah.
because there was a market on Sunday, and he was going
Right.
to take off. And I'm like, "You've got to stick around.
So
You got
hard.
this."
Yeah.
I even offered to do it for him.
Oh,
Well, he got slammed. Like,
yeah.
I probably went back and forth to his car with wood 10, 15 times at least.
That's awesome though.
Like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Molly, everything was helping write orders down.
I came toward the end of it, but there was a couple other people that were
Well, yeah, I mean,
like they had an assembly line getting people's orders, so then
Totally.
they went to David and just helped him and to pay.
the same thing
Everything else was-
happened to most of the vendors at the conference. Honestly, I was shocked by how much people spent considering how much people spent to get there.
Right.
So like
Mhm.
even I just kind of
Which conference?
assumed that people wouldn't spend the this one, the next level.
Oh, okay.
That one. I just kind of assumed like a lot of people who were going there, they spent $400 for the tickets, however much for the at least 2 to 3 nights of the hotel. If you had to fly there, and then now you like materials and like getting them all, like just all of that on top of it, like all of us were running like sales that to make it a little bit cheaper, like obviously you didn't have to pay for shipping because you got to like take it home right then, or discounts on top of the like no shipping and all of that. But I was surprised how much people spent, and there were times where, especially at like the lunchtime or where everyone had a break and there weren't like any classes going on, I had to have him there because he was usually the one like ringing them up, and I was the one explaining them like the different styles if they had never like used them before, what's the difference between each one. He kind of knows but doesn't know enough to like tell another customer like what the purposes were. And so he bailed me out like a few times because it's a lot. It's good and in a good way because it's like, yay, I'm making money. But then it's like, ugh, there's so many people like looking at you and waiting for you to, to finish it. And you don't want people to, not have time and walk away. And then that's a sale you didn't get. But I did really well with the keychain thingies that weekend. I was surprised by how well it went. But yeah, that's another thing. That's another reason why I love those events, is because prior to this, did you even know David? Did you know him from the groups or TikTok or anything?
I did. Yeah, I did know David previously.
Had you met him before in person?
We live in
we have a Michigan laser group, and so it's David's group, but he's created a pretty active group, and we get together.
But I mean,
there's a lot of people other than David. There's tons of people I met and connections that I would have never had.
The fact is that like, even though you met him in person or before that, and like his laser group, that's a local laser group, fostered a relationship along with LBX to the point where like he's drowning at a vendor event and you're there as a guest, right? And you choose, okay, well, let me help this guy out. And like, bring all these in and, hopefully he bought you a drink or something, but you know what I mean? But like, you didn't
He
have
said he was going to buy me lunch. Now that you
He-
say that.
He saved us. No, he saved us way before the conference.
How so?
Mm.
Oh, that's right.
Someone
Did
forgot.
a huge boo-boo.
Oh no.
And I walked away from my laser. And I was cutting acrylic. So kids happened. Thankfully it didn't, it destroyed the laser. Blake was able to fix what needed to be fixed, but I would give it maybe 10 seconds more and it would have also affected the house.
Right.
So, we were very fortunate in that way, but
yeah.
I had just bought, I found this designer of earrings, a new designer. And I just bought a bunch of her earrings and I'm like, oh my gosh, now what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Cutting something I didn't want to be cutting in the first place. And so, he's like, let me know, like tell her to fill up.
How can you help?
Tell her to fill up like a whole, I don't remember. It's
whole sheet.
A massive size. And he has a dual head laser. So it was 2 full sheets of earrings.
He regretted it afterwards.
He
doesn't do earrings. He does ornaments.
Are like multi-layered too. So it's not just one earring that's cutting out. It's like all these tiny little pieces. And he totally saved me and just sat there sorting all the like
I'm telling you,
thousands of pieces.
Find those laser friends and those local laser people because
we owed him.
They will save you in those moments. And there's going
the whole community.
Yeah. Exactly.
The whole community is, I think you were talking about it in a recent podcast. Like you didn't find that with, I was in cricket. Like you didn't find that with the cricket groups or silhouette. And
not that they weren't like nice or they weren't helpful necessarily, but like there was no one in any of those groups that I was like, oh, you're going to be my friend, or I know you'll help me if I need something, or you know what I mean? And like maybe they would have if I would have asked or had the opportunity to. I don't know. It's just it's completely different, and I don't even really know how to explain it. But it's just I didn't have that in the silhouette groups and any of the other really like craft groups I was in. This is more like it very much becomes like a family to where like now we go, like I go to her son's, like we moved 2 hours to be even closer to like where she was. And, she goes to my kids' things and I go to her kids' things and our kids are going to play friggin' soccer together like next year and just things like that. And she saved me when I've had like something happen with my laser or I ran out of material or my laser broke and I went to Amanda's house until 2 or 3 a.m. Around Thanksgiving, Christmas, because it's gonna happen no matter the laser, no matter if it was like where you got complacent and walked away or whatever. There's going to be a situation that's out of your control in that moment that you need a laser friend for, or a backup laser.
Sure.
If you don't have laser friends, you don't like making new friends. Laser that's up and running and working, So it's huge, and it's definitely something very unexpected. And the laser world, because I came into the laser world not knowing one laser person. So now it's all I know. now I barely talk to my other friends, and I mostly talk to them.
They don't understand. They don't get it.
Don't get it, and that's the difficult part. Like, if any of my other friends are listening, I'm sorry, I love you. But it's like
listen this far,
right? They didn't make it this far. Maybe the first 15 minutes. But it's the same thing where like you tend to gravitate and spend more time with the people who understand the struggle of working a full-time job outside of the home. I'm trying to change the verbiage of real job because what we do is real. Real. Even my brain wants to say it. But if you work outside of the home and do this as like a side business, it's just, I forget where I was going with that.
Yeah.
But it's important to have all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have the community. It's great.
Yeah. Well,
And-
get the struggle. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
With the having someone who relates to that, who is pushing and maybe not making a bunch of money, but you know that you can, but you have to do the push initially, and understanding how posting sucks and doing your taxes sucks, and how just all the parts that come into it. If they don't at the very least own a small business of their own, they just don't understand.
Yeah.
So, and having them understand it goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's help the people understand where to find you guys.
We are at
Go ahead. No, I'll ask it after. I have to ask that one.
Yeah,
that one question. Yeah.
Outnumbered5to1.com is our website that has links to all of our socials, because we're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, but we are definitely most active on TikTok.
Nice.
And if you would have went back 2 years and said, hey, Blake, you're going to be, going live on TikTok. You're going to be talking to people you met on TikTok on the phone. You're going to be sewing live on TikTok. Check that video out. But I would have never, ever believed you that was going to be the case. But the community on TikTok has been incredible. Talking to people like Stephanie and Nerdy Sir, David, so many people. It blows my mind that I actually will text and talk to these people on the phone that I met on TikTok. On TikTok, we are Outnumbered 521 Design. Or Design or Designs? Why am I blanking on that? If you put in Outnumbered 521, it pops right up. But definitely most active on TikTok, and definitely reach out. I'd say something I'm passionate about is helping people. Talk to so many people. Like, I've had a laser for a year. It's been sitting in a box, and I'm too nervous to open it up. I'm like, I love talking to those people. I have a 40-minute drive home. I talk to people throughout the week. Like, call me. I can, happy to help. Get started. Want to try to give them the courage it takes to do that.
The one we had last week with Kendra, or was it 2? It was technically 2 weeks ago as far as what aired, but Kendra said she got a laser due to a laser friend / scroll artist, and he walked her through it because it showed up and she was terrified. She didn't want to touch it and didn't know where to
thing up.
And she said,
Kendra,
if it wasn't
Kendra's
for him, she wouldn't.
Oh.
Yeah, Kendra's got wood. She said she wouldn't have even said she probably wouldn't have bought it in the first place and wouldn't have even, set it up, because it can be really intimidating, especially if you get one of these the industrial lasers, because the industrial laser, the Glowforge, I wish it was freaking cheaper, because it really does serve its purpose. It was a perfect buffer for me to figure out if I liked it. I realized I liked it, and then I could upgrade, and I knew something about how they worked, and it was a good stepping stone for me. But now that they're the same price as industrial lasers, it's hard to push people in that direction. But then when an industrial laser shows up at your house in this big ass crate,
when crate shows up as opposed to a box.
Oh my God. I knew this thing was big, but I highly underestimated how big it was. And when it showed up in a crate, I was like, what have I done? Lining your mirrors and all that. So having a friend or finding a new friend or finding that person who will walk you through it because they've either been there or they just like helping people. Yeah.
It's a big community. You'll find somebody.
We need more people like that for sure.
Kendra and us, we have the same laser. And I talked to her very early on TikTok.
Nice.
She was feeling intimidated, and we talked and just kind of gave her some encouragement a long time ago. It's crazy now to find out she's in Michigan. I didn't even know then that she was in Michigan.
Oh, really?
I guess I didn't realize that either.
And she's in the Michigan group, and
she told us that night.
Yeah.
Just don't remember.
But it's cool how things have really come full circle.
Yeah, for sure. So the question that I was going to ask you that I remembered when he was asking you, the other one, was what piece of advice, what would you tell the new you that you know now that you wish you knew when you had first started?
I think we even knew it back then.
Yeah, we did. It starts with an N. You want to guess? It starts with an N. She almost said it. Yeah, it starts with N.
I don't know.
No. Okay.
No.
Yes.
I'll know
to
when
find that
Know
niche.
your niche. Yes.
Like,
Jeez.
don't do what we did and do
Everything.
all the things. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
in your
because you want to make everything. It's so fun and so new. And
I'll say in your defense in finding your niche, if you don't know what you want to do, sometimes you do have to do all the things to
that's
figure
what we
out
told ourselves
Mhm.
too.
because doing so.
You're an enabler.
Well, I mean, so in doing so, I found out I didn't like wood. I didn't like painting. I didn't like sanding, spraying, finishing. I love acrylic because I did all the things in wood. And now, so much so, people ask me if I'll make something in wood. And I'm like,
How
can we
about
make it in acrylic? So
Well,
I have
here's the thing.
yeah, I have like a little bit of my niche is still very like it's not nailed down as much as it should be.
Just the
But I've at
material is.
least niched down my material to the point where it's like it's acrylic. Veneer is my one like wood exception. Or if I absolutely really like you, it has to be pre-finished. And I'm gonna make you pay for the expensive wood in the price because I'm gonna get the pre-finished, pre-masked where I don't have to do anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
But and we love doing all the like if somebody says,
Yeah.
hey, or at least I love it. I don't
He tells people Molly loves making custom things. Oh, Molly loves that. Like she doesn't. No, I do. I mean, I've actually turned quite a few things down recently, like in the last week, just because we're like kind of finishing with our last craft shows of the year, and just I mean, it's just a busy time. Like I can't try to make this one thing that I've never made before. Like it's not just a custom piece. It's
like the right time where like either orders are slow or maybe craft shows are slow or like it won't always be a no necessarily, but like right now because it's the busy season. And I mean the fact that you have your Christmas tree up, like a lot of us, it's I know you were trying to wrap up the episode, but a lot of us makers and crafters, it's like we neglect that kind of stuff and we have kids too, and we need to get the tree up and we need to get it decorated. And I mean there was one year that our son was young, and I mean he was probably a baby and we didn't even set up the tree. And then the next year we set up the tree, but there was literally like only the ornaments he brought home from daycare on it. It was so funny.
And halfway up because you can't put them low.
It was a self-lit tree. But and I just didn't want to do that this year. Like even Halloween got away from us. We decorated outside and we go ham for Halloween, but we didn't decorate inside barely at all because it just all of a sudden it was a week away, and it's like, well, what's the point? And that's what happens with Christmas too. And so we did Christmas literally right after we put everything away for Halloween, before even Thanksgiving, because I knew like we have to set it up now or it's not going to happen. Because it gets away from you.
Inside the tree this year.
Man, that train is badass.
Yeah,
that's fun.
It's really fun, and it was like solid purchase for sure.
Yeah.
Home Depot give us a what do you call it, an affiliate something like that thing.
Become a sponsor.
Yeah, because I could sell that thing to anybody. It's $39.
Yep.
And it is so cool, and our kids are I'm obsessed with it, but our kids are
high enough to where the little one can't reach it. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was fun having you guys.
Yeah, thanks for
we love it.
No,
what was that?
We touched on everything.
Okay.
Is there anything else you guys like to share? You got coming up?
Not that I can think of. No, I mean, definitely check us out on TikTok if you're somebody who needs help wanting to get started lasering or anything else. Well, I've even talked to people that had a sewing machine that had been sitting there. They weren't too intimidated to get into,
Yeah, sewing. That's one craft. Sewing you don't even have to worry about you getting into. I can't sew to save my life. I tried to make those little rectangle rice bags one year, and I had to have my friend sew them for me. I'd fill them and then she'd close them up for me. That's how bad I was sewing. Quickly, you are also, I think you're an affiliate, right? For a laser brand. Go ahead.
Noah Laser. Yeah. If you go to our website, Outnumbered 521, go to what laser should I buy? There's links for Noah Laser on there. If you put in Outnumbered 521, you can get 5% off.
Nice.
That's the fiber laser that we have, and it is awesome.
Oh, nice. Okay. Great.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And you guys stay right there. We'll be right back with our life update. And we're back.
Yeah.
Another fun one.
We say this all the time.
All the time. Fun one.
But it was a good one.
Good.
They're easy to talk to.
Yep.
Sure. And a wealth of information. So we'll try and keep the life update short, but it's hard because we got a lot.
We got a lot
so
this time.
First of all,
first off is Thanksgiving.
No, hold on. I'm just going to mention this real quick. It looks really freaking cool with the lights and stuff.
It's a hat rack.
We got a hat box, guys.
It's the second. It's
we had the first one didn't even come out of the box.
No, it didn't. It was really big, and we didn't know where to put it.
We got to sell it somehow. But
I know where to put it. So now we got this one.
Yeah. So this one is really cool. Amazon.
Yeah. It
was great.
Although I think I'm gonna need like another one. Or
another one.
Two
well, they stack.
Because this one is full of just logo hats.
Laser hats.
Laser hats.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not even touching my real hats.
Emily just shared her
the
t-shirt drawer, and it was literally one full drawer of like
Did you know
her laser
we got 2 shirts in there?
3.
3? Oh, I only saw 2.
3.
Okay.
Yep. She had a Riley Black shirt, a project shirt, and then maybe I forget what the other one was.
Probably Silhouette.
Maybe Silhouette for lasers or something. Yeah. So that's now that's out of the way. It looks really cool. Yeah. Finally have the hat rack.
Yep.
Forever later.
Yeah. See that, Ryan? Got the second hat rack. I got
and it's an acrylic. It's kind of like what I was planning on doing anyway, but they did it for me and better.
It slides out.
Right? Yeah. The brand is the Cat Box.
They're not paying for it. They're not paying for it.
That's true. Pay me for it, and I'll tell everybody where to get it.
You just told everybody where to get it.
Anyway, on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving.
So you know how his mom moved in?
So my brother came over, my uncle, we had a great time. And JR loves playing soccer. So
can you play soccer with me? Can you play soccer with me?
So
can you play soccer with me?
My brother finally caved and played soccer, and he is currently laying on our couch with a torn tricep. No.
Yeah, they tricep. No, that's what we did at the gym today.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Quadricep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they don't know if it's full or partial yet.
Yeah,
but we'll find out.
Well, no, so he does know now. We don't know now because it's for Friday and then Monday.
Right.
So he already knows.
Nobody does
so
that.
We don't
Stop
know.
It. But yeah, so he's been here for a week.
Yep. Yeah. But
I love him.
But if you're general admission, he's probably home.
Yeah.
But,
by Monday.
Yeah.
He'll hopefully.
Unless he needs surgery, then he's still here. Yeah. But it's looking better. It's looking like he doesn't need surgery, thank God.
Listen, I feel like it's gone pretty well considering we have so many people in this house.
I just feel bad that he has to sleep on the couch, but it's his choice because he says it's better for him, but it doesn't look comfortable.
No.
But I'm sure his whole situation isn't comfortable.
He used to
on a bed
he might even still. He had a twin bed.
He does still.
That's basically the couch.
Nah, he's got a little more room.
Barely.
But yeah, so that happened on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I hope there was no injuries at your house.
They were playing, and then it's funny.
Found out where the emergency room was.
Let me tell you really quick the how it happened. So then you guys are outside, and we're all inside. And
it was a pretty big snap.
JR,
so you take your cell phone and you slap it on your thigh. That was the snap that we heard. And we thought
what I was
initially we thought it was his knee dislocating. We thought his knee was dislocated. He thought he dislocated his knee.
Well, so JR comes inside and Nino.
Right.
Mom. And he says, "Oh, how's soccer going?" And JR goes, "Oh, not good." And we're all like, what do you mean? And we thought like he was playing, like because you guys are still outside,
right?
And he just
my brother was on the floor.
Right, he just had to go pee, but he was like, "Oh, not good." And we're like, "What happened?" They're like, "Oh, Jason hurt his knee." And we're all like, we all kind of thought he was like kidding,
right?
And we look outside and Jason's on the ground and we're like, oh, he's really hurt. Okay. And then we go outside and like he couldn't get off the ground. He ended up texting he didn't want to without,
and he was already on the phone with
his friends.
With his, EMT friends.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And we kept making jokes. You know, he's the fittest. He is the fittest person in the house.
He's a personal trainer.
And so we're like, see,
that's why you don't do exercise, right? Because you break yourself outside.
I was texting my neighbor because her husband, I knew he was a firefighter, and a lot of them are also often EMTs. And I was like, is he? And she's like, yeah. She's like, do you want him to come over? And I'm like, yeah. And you know, he couldn't really do much, but he at least kind of just looked him over and was like, yeah, you're gonna need to go to the ER and get it looked at. But yeah, so it was funny in that moment of not good, and we're like, what?
I can only imagine. Meanwhile, I'm outside like, what do I do? I'm telling him, I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do here.
Right.
Do I help you up? Do you need me?
Yeah.
If you want, I'm not medically trained, but I'll help you pop it in if you want.
Well, and this was our plan anyway. We planned to finally get a gym membership, and we've been talking about it for forever. So we finally got one.
We're a gym membership,
and we were getting one anyway. But now we have a personal trainer on our couch. Yeah. So we've,
who's not going anywhere.
How you joked, he's like, we can ask him all the questions we have, but
he's not going anywhere.
He's stuck here,
and he can't charge us because he's like eating our food, and he's here at the house. So
living here rent free.
Yeah, so he can't really not rent free because he still has to pay his rent.
That's true.
But we're working out. So
wish us luck.
All of this hopefully will just come in a
hopefully
smaller
it just
package.
Starts to gradually shrink each episode.
Hopefully we'll be able to do a time lapse in like 6-7 months. Just see us, shrink.
But if I'm a little cranky, it might be because I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm starving right now.
Preach.
Yeah.
Yep. But we haven't plugged it this episode much, so Patreon.
Yes.
Help us pay for that soccer that I talked about.
I mentioned, we joked about it a lot in the past like 4 or 5 episodes, and
you're trying to let off.
And like, you know what? Let me ease off.
Don't pump the brakes. We gotta pay the bills, buddy.
We do, but it's the holidays. People are their presents and stuff. And what a better present than the podcast,
right? To your favorite podcast host.
Gift it to a friend.
They've already left us, but
gift it to a friend. You can gift the podcast to a friend. Buy them a subscription.
Let's go. I gotta pee.
Okay. Well, with that,
love you guys.
It's been another great episode of the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done.